My. It is good to be alive. February 20th, 2022. Well, it means that you've been through some things. You've seen some things in the last 26 or 27 months that had never been seen before by anybody. There's a lot of obfuscation and confusion about what is and what isn't, and people have taken various sides and various stands. And a lot of people have not tried to understand that this is so new that, of course, every kind of theory has to be put forth before actual facts surface. We really don't know how to deal with this pandemic. It is trial and error, as all medicine is. That's right, I said all medicine is trial and error. That's why I said doctors practice medicine. They don't do medicine, they practice medicine. They try things to see how it's going to work out. My grandmother on my father's side, I guess, was as much a medicine man as anybody could be. As they used to say in the early American Indian tribes, they had what they call a medicine man. And what he did, he went into the forest and got all kind of plants, leaves and roots and nuts and whatnot, and tried them on people to see what was going to happen. Sometimes it turned out real good, and sometimes it just turned out. Well, all I can tell you in this pandemic, keep faith in God. That's all. That's all I can tell you. Keep faith in God. I hope you can come to Sunday school today to hear and be taught about Job and the afflictions that came on Job and how his friends came to sit around him and explain to him why he was having afflictions. People are quick to tell you what's going on in your life, and they don't know what's going on in their own lives. Well, I'm here this morning to bring you a little encouragement for this day. I think you should be very happy that God woke you up this morning, and then think about all that was involved in waking you up. Yes, first of all, rocking you to sleep. Did you have a good sleep last night? I had a good sleep last night. I had driven from Chicago after the funeral of Dr. Cooper, who was the fifth president of the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated. And she introduced my wife some large crowds, 5,000, 6,000, 12,000 in the National Baptist Convention, made her name a convention-wide word. And when Dr. Jerry Young was looking for a president to work with him as he was newly elected, he quickly put out the name Cynthia Diane Perkins Smith. My. And for 2 years, that rumor went around and around and around and around and around and around again. And it became a reality. And for 3 years, she's been national president of the largest black organization that we have, the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated. And her funeral was yesterday, and we drove over on Friday, leaving Pastor Michael Evans, a wonderful young man at New Bethel Church, born during my tenure. And I don't know a person that I'm more proud of than Michael Evans. He has been a great wonder. The whole family, a matter of fact, little Justin is just waiting for me to go back to Haiti. He led a project as a little Cub Scout years ago on Haiti. Now he's a grown man and ready to go and see where his efforts have been going to help the least one. Of course, his mother is a great, great children's worker and singer. Well, you can just name it all. And they have a wonderful and loving father. I think those of you who are with us this early morning, my goodness, in silence, moving on Monet, and then Sister uh, Newell, such a wonderful, kind, and loving person. I miss her face in the place. I miss her face in the place. I'll be glad, Sister Newell, when you're able to be in the midst again. As you know, they've relaxed the mask wearing. I don't know, that's because they're tired of the complainers or they really think it's the thing to do now. It's not something I'm excited about. I'll keep wearing mine if for no other reason. It has New Bethel Baptist Church across it, and it gets me in a lot of good conversations with people about what is New Bethel, where is New Bethel, who are you in New Bethel, and I get the chance to tell that great New Bethel story, and I'm readily start talking and don't know when to stop. People have to just walk on off because I don't want to end the story. New Bethel is indeed a great church, and I'm in position to know because I've been a pastor's kid all my life. My daddy had, as I have had, 7 churches, and of course, I sat near him and under him and around him. I've seen him in moments of high joy, and I've seen him in moments of deep depression from what was going on in the church. So we thank God. We thank God for everything that's going on. Thank you for every thing that's going on in any way. But anyway, um, come back, all of you, come back. And of course, as you know, New Bethel is a palatial and commodious place, but also a very spacious place. So you have your social distancing always with or without mask. How good the Lord is. Glad to see you, brothers Frank Sparks, out there in Arizona, where there's all kind of political chicanery going on, and they're trying to redo and undo and the election and trying to overdo the next election protections and all. Just keep the faith and keep moving on in Christ. Well, I'm going to just say a little encouraging word to you, and I'm going to let you go and see you back at 7:30. Bring somebody with you. In the 121st Psalms, you've heard me talk about this many times. It's a psalm my mother gave me as a child, and she repeated all of her 85 years. She always wanted to hear the 121st Psalms. It says in the first 2 verses, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help comes from the Lord, which made the heaven and the earth. And I want to tell you, you need help. No matter who you are, at some point in life, you've needed help. Yes, you cannot make it through this world by yourself. The greatest struggle in the world is to have no help. No matter how smart you are, the truth is you need help. Oh, yes, you do. No matter how strong you are, you need help. No matter how rich you are, you need help. No matter who you are, you need help. Everybody has to have help. God made us in such a way that we cannot become islands to ourselves and just simply fade into time and go on into eternity. No, every man got to be connected somehow. You remember when Adam had everything, every orange, every grape, all the water, all the vegetables, all the fruits, all the forest, all the mountains, everything was under his authority yet he needed help. He could not make it by himself. Well, there comes points of desperation. I don't know whether you've ever been hunting. My father was a real, I don't know what you call it, man of bravado, but he liked to shoot, he liked to fish, he liked to hunt, he liked to boat, uh, he liked to build. He would buy scrap lumber and build rent houses. Now, when he got off work, he went straight to his scrap pile of lumber and started trying to pick out usable boards. When you buy the scrap lumber, you just get a great pile for $1 or two, and you might have 10 in there that you can use. You can get some nails out of all of them, and they got the nails out and straightened them out and got usable boards. So they got enough to build one of those what we call shotgun houses down south, and he would rent it out. Well, my father would go hunting, and I begged to go with him, and he would say, "No, it ain't for you. It ain't for you." But finally, he let me go one time, and it's dark, and you don't know where you're stepping, what you're stepping in and around, and you don't know what's out there. And if you get lost, you just start screaming for help. And of course, your scream draws everything in the forest. Different things will hear you, and you might get good help, or you might invite some bad help. Yes, the truth is, you cannot accept help from everybody. What did you say, preacher? You cannot accept help from everybody. It is better to do without some things than to get help from certain people. Certain people, when they help you, what they're doing is trying to set up to enslave you. We have in Detroit what we call predatory lenders, and many people are stuck in bad financial situations because they got caught up with a predatory lender. Somebody who lets you pawn the title of your car if you own it, and you pay and never get out. Somebody that advance you uh, 2 weeks pay, and you pay and never get out of that debt. Or you go to some of these, I don't know what kind of car lots to call them. I call them shyster lots. People go to these car auctions and they buy up some raggedy old cars and they do enough to them where they can run sometimes for less than 6 and 7 hours. Some where it might run 3 months. And of course, its shop is gone, but you signed an agreement to pay $300 a month for the next 36 months, which is 40 times what the car was worth, and you're just stuck in it. It's just not good to accept any and every helper that comes to you and doesn't do good. And there are a lot of people who've been trapped by somebody who let them have $40, $60, $20, and they were pushed into various sexual promiscuities and adventures that they never would have been in if they had not accepted that help. No, you cannot accept help from anywhere and anybody, but you need help. You need help. Oh, but there are those who try to become the master over you or shame you once they do the least little thing to help you. They will publicly shame you and talk about how they had to help you. Well, but you still need help. Well, David gives us a place not only to get help, but good help. He says, I'll lift up mine eyes to the hills. Now, what is David talking about the hills? Well, uh, hills and mountains have always been a place connected with spirituality because high up You can see a long ways out. You know, the fear is when you get in something, Lord, when am I going to get out? Have you ever been in a traffic jam and you couldn't see the end and you just had to wonder, when will I get out? During this snowstorm that we had last weekend, there were people trapped 9 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, some up to 24 hours from the bad collisions and wrecks that people had, and they couldn't see to the end. They were very anxious. But the man flying above in the helicopter, he could see everything coming to an end, and he was more relaxed. So getting help from the hills, man, getting help from somebody who can see a long ways out and know that the end is coming. Well, my friends, that's why you seek it from the hills. As the mountains are around Jerusalem, so is God around his people. So no matter which direction you go in, when you go with God, you go with the best help you can get. He said, then this help comes from a great source because he's the maker, the creator. He can help you best because he knows you best. Listen, I'm going to let you go, but there's a story of an old gray-headed man who was in the London Square, and everybody was troubled in the square because Big Ben, the great clock, had stopped ticking. Big Ben had kept time, and people had come through many times just to see Big Ben, and it shocked everybody when it stopped. They called in the great engineers from Oxford and Cambridge and Harvard and Yale, and they all worked on the clock, but they couldn't get Ben to going again. Then finally, a little gray-headed man came forth, and that man had a little black bag and a greasy rag, and he walked to the barricade and said to those who were guarding the entry to the tower that Big Ben was in, "Sir, I would like to go up and work on Ben." The man said, as he checked his list, "Are you from Harvard or Yale or Cambridge? What engineering school do you represent?" He said, I don't. I haven't been to one of the great engineering schools." So, well, what make you think you can work on Big Ben? He said, "Because I was standing by my father when he put Big Ben together." So it is with Jesus Christ. He was standing with the Father when he made you. He knows all about you. Call on Jesus. Get your help from God. Everything will be all right. Let me tell you, the best is yet to come. God bless you. God keep you. I'll see you at 7:30.